Hi, I'm Bob Hatcher, Executive Director for Prime Plus Senior Centers, and this is Prime Time with Bob. And I'm with an old friend and a bunch of pigs. What can I say, right, Greg? Greg Bockheim, the director of the Virginia Zoo, and your buddies. You got some friends behind you, don't you?
That's right. It's a beautiful day. I'm sitting in the zoo farm at the Virginia Zoo with kind of our new pig grazing area.
Well, I'm trying to place where you're at. Where are you?
Well, I'm right in the middle of the zoo farm. We have this kind of island garden here. This exhibit here was our prairie dog exhibit, but there's no longer prairie dogs in it. And so now we use it as a grazing space. So we'll put our miniature cows out here, our sheep, and today is Cooney Pig Day.
Cooney Pig Day. Now, it looks like one's got a harness on or something.
Yeah, they do. We walk them around the zoo on leashes. There's 3 of them here. They're just a lot of fun. They're the smartest and hairiest of the pigs.
And they look nice and clean.
They are. It's pretty amazing. You know, everyone knows, I think, that pigs are super smart. And yeah, they definitely like each other. They groom themselves.
So does a pig, when their tail is wagging, does that mean they're happy or they're just swatting flies?
Oh yeah, they think they're going to get something when they hear a human voice. You know, they're usually either going to go for a walk or go through a training time when they'll get a treat for part of their training.
So Craig, that brings up, so animals that are at the zoo are not trained for performance. They're trained really for their own health care and that kind of thing, and for surviving in a zoo, right?
Yeah, exactly. So they're trained so that they could be desensitized or, you know, just become super familiar with whatever a doctor might ask them to show your paws, show us the inside of your mouth, show us this or that, turn around to your side so we can give you a shot, you know. So they're trained by their zookeepers, who are their favorite people, to really position themselves so they can inspect them like they would for a veterinary exam.
So if you're complaining about telehealth, consider that. It's a lot different. You don't have to be trained for telehealth then, do you?
Yeah, right.
You bring up a valid point. What happened to their lives on March 16th when we were closed down for 2 weeks?
Right. Yeah, we were very surprised, like we were saying earlier. You know, I look at my notes and I think, my gosh, you know, we were saying we were going to be closed for 2 to 3 weeks when it turned into 13 weeks. During that time, our zookeepers and our medical staff stayed on board, of course, because they had to provide for the animals during that entire time. But they did split into 2 shifts in case someone got COVID on the animal care team. You know, they would not come in contact with each other. Then we're worried about animals getting COVID, like one of the tigers at the Bronx Zoo did. So yeah, we didn't really know what was going to happen. But yeah, there was no one around, you know, from a public standpoint.
Right now, but yet there's an ongoing, I mean, that's a real community that needs to be supported, right? The animals.
Right. Oh, yeah. So we do get some food donations. One of our best donors right now is Amazon Food Supply, because so many people are ordering their food online now, right? So there's a transfer station for Amazon in Virginia Beach, and they donate everything that's 5 days old to us, which is still human grade. So that is definitely beneficial for the animal collection. But we did lose about 55 staff when the zoo shut down.
Does that mean you were swabbing the deck?
I was sanitizing the zoo. We were all trained by the time we reopened how to sanitize anything a person would come in contact with every 2 hours.
Wow. Tell a pig that, huh?
Uh-huh.
So,
yeah.
So what kind, okay, so you're open now. But what does open mean?
We follow, I think it's, you know, we've really had good plans in that, you know, we follow the governor's orders, him being a doctor, and then our city manager is an economist. So I think you've really got both the best of both worlds putting together, you know, the brains for how to keep a community safe. So we've been following those guidelines closely. We're allowed to bring in 25% of our regular visitorship. And for us, that means we have 4,500 people in the zoo a day. But under the new guidance, it was 1,000 people a day. So we went to complete online ticketing, no touch anything. You have to buy your reservation or get your reservation online, come to our ticket booth, show us your phone or your reservation, or we look it up, and then you go into the zoo and you have 2 hours. So that's about 100 people every 2 hours for us.
So you really can have an intimate experience in the zoo now.
Yeah, it's very, very quiet. Yeah, and like I said, school started, we had 29 people in the zoo on that day. I mean, imagine when we'd have thousands, to have such a small population here.
Now, in the zoo, for those that haven't been to the zoo, I mean, it's large areas. It's no longer the cages. So it's a very, how can I say, animal promoted area. Did they notice that nobody was there?
They did in the beginning when there was no one here, really, but just the animal care staff really behind the scenes. Yeah, I think animals were always surprised when they'd see someone come along, and I think they watched the person more than we watched them. So it was super interesting.
Now, I was hearing a story, true or not. Okay, we'll do the verify this, that there's some bird's nest over by Africa in the cafeteria, and there was this kind of environs with the food and whatever, with people not eating. The crows didn't have, I mean, it kind of changed up how the animals interacted with each other, the wild animals.
Yeah, yeah. When the zoo has been very quiet like this, we had a lot of crows, especially raccoons. I mean, not raccoons, foxes. The crows used to pull the napkins out of the dispensers on the picnic tables, and the people used to feed them. Well, not being any people here and no food in that manner, they really went after some of the bird nests on grounds, from our crested screamers in the exhibit behind me to Canada goose eggs. They would go after those nests on grounds. Yeah, there was all sorts of kind of misbehavior among the crow population, who is fearless here at the zoo. Another thing I think is super interesting too is, we have a lot of paver paths here at the zoo. You would not believe the weeds that came up between those pavers because there's no longer visitors here to walk on them. So if you're a gardening person, you recognize the weeds have gone wild at the zoo because there's not people stomping around on zoo grounds. That is very interesting. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Now you're talking to the guy, confession. I don't mind the squirrels eat my bird feed.
Oh, yeah.
I enjoy watching them.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, you think not everybody that visits the zoo is a ticket holder, come to think of it, right?
Right. No, yeah. We do have a lot of squirrels too.
So is it pretty easy to make a reservation then? How do you go about doing that?
Yeah, you just go right on our website, virginiazoo.org, and then you can make your reservation on the site. And even if it's because we're most often going to be busy at 10 o'clock in the morning, usually we have openings past that hour of the day, so we can take walk-ups. Now that the weather is so fantastic, it's a great time to visit the zoo. But like this past Saturday, we were booked for the whole day on reservations. So you just have to be careful of what day. Any weekday is going to be really good now that the weather is good, and we're not going to sell out of tickets. So you can walk up to the window most often.
But for me, quite often, I'll get up in the morning and say, hey, let's go to the zoo. Is that still possible, though?
Yeah, it's possible. I would say kind of avoid a weekend or come in earlier on a Sunday, at 10 or 11, and we should have openings. But Saturdays will be pretty booked if the weather's nice. If it's 80 degrees, it'll be pretty busy on a weekend. But weekdays, we're very open.
As much as I love looking at you, Greg, what kind of view is around you? Can you kind of show? Because
Sure.
The grass is almost gone behind you.
Right. Yeah, they are, So there's our Cooney pigs. There's one snoozing over there. Hey. Let's see. I'll see if I can get one of our pigs our miniature cows to come over right here.
This is one of your original long-standing exhibits, the farmyard, and yet it's always pristine and smells good.
Right. Yeah, we.
How does the zoo work between the city and the society?
We're half funded by the Zoological Society, so our nonprofit arm. They manage all of the outward-facing aspects of the zoo. So from our events, education programs, concessions, marketing, our newsletter, our membership evenings, that's managed by our Virginia Zoological Society. And then the operational aspect, so the care for the animals, the medical care for the animals, the grounds, facilities, and horticulture, that's managed by the city side of the operation.
So what I just heard you say very subtly is the society earns money based on activities that are no longer happening, or if they are,
That's right.
really cut way back. And from what I understand, the city has a $40 million operating cap in their budget. So you're getting kind of clipped on both ends then, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so we're, we have about 300 birthday parties here a year, but we can't have those right now. So our Zoo Society arm is not generating really much revenue at all. So it's hard to say when we'll come back from that. I hate to think that, recovery is going to take a couple of years, but we're down about $2.7 million because
Wow.
we do see so many visitors. Yeah, so we see nearly 500,000 visitors a year. So that's a whole lot of people, a whole lot of hot dogs that you sell. So, but from a ticket standpoint, an event standpoint, we're about 2.7 million in the hole.
So if somebody wants to respond to that, because we take great pleasure in the zoo and there's going to be a tomorrow for the zoo, how can they participate?
Well, right now we have 2 donors that will match any funds sent to the zoo to $150,000. So that's a great thing. So anybody that donates to the zoo now, you can go right to our website at virginiazoo.org and make a contribution today, and your $10 turns into $20, or your $100 turns into $200. So there's a great benefit for us going on right now. So if folks would love to donate, we have that matching grant going on right now. I'm going to show you some miniature cows here.
Yeah. Does this mean it's going to rain? Because they're lying down, Greg?
Yeah.
That's what my mom always told me.
Those are miniature zebu cows, Clover. And we've got our miniature sheep here.
Oh, wow. They look like they've been newly sheared?
Yeah, they were a little while ago, this past spring.
See, and they could care less that you're being impacted by COVID, but yet they have needs that need to be met too.
Yeah, they do. So we have a lot going on all there here. What was I going to say? What's kind of interesting too, of course, there's that scare that the animals can catch COVID too. Right. So even if this zoo farm is not open to the public because, you can pet everything here. And our reptile, and our reptile building is still not open, and that's because there's just too many touch points in there. We do sanitize the zoo every 2 hours, and that's rotating between 2 sanitizing methods. One time it's done with peroxide, the other time it's done with bleach. So yeah, it's all the art site. What's really amazing too is the gardens. We got really kind of the right amount of rain, sun this spring, so nobody has seen really how grand the flowers have looked. If you see right here.
Oh, wow.
It's just been really, really pretty.
Well, Greg, I've always been jealous of your position to be able to hang out at a zoo and just kind of kick your feet back and enjoy it. But enough of a break for you. It's time for you to go muck out those stalls and cut some flowers.
Right. So yeah, I would take advantage of it now. The weather is great. The flowers look great. So yeah, everybody should visit the zoo as soon as they can.
Super. Thanks, Greg, for everything that you and your team has done to kind of give a normal life to a zoo during really unusual times. But what a great place to plug into when you want to get some fresh air and kind of take a deep breath. Thank you for everything that you guys have done. And
well, thank you. And thanks for thinking of us.
Okay. I'll talk to you later. Go get that shovel now.
All right. Take care.
What the heck? Okay. Keep in mind. Stay safe.
All right. Take care.
Stay connected. Thanks a lot, guys. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
See you later. Bye-bye.